Hi gang, it's Monday, and that means it's Jazz on Waxing On. And today we're looking at another one of the crooners. And today we're looking at somebody who's a little more modern and still performing is Harry Connick Jr. Now, I first became aware of Harry Connick Jr. when I heard the soundtrack to the movie When Harry Met Sally. And he was doing a lot of covers at that time, songs by Sinatra. And it was a pretty good album. I mean, for soundtrack's album, it was a good chance to hear what he was doing. And as he went on, he formed his own bands. Some albums he did with a small group or with smaller groups. Others he did with a big band. And one of the albums that I'm going to show you now is one he did here, and it's called Harry Connick Jr. Come By Me, that he not only used his big band, but also used an orchestra. Now, in his big band, he had some regular players. Just to give you an idea, for me, trumpet players were a key thing. We got Roger Ingram and Dan Miller, and on saxophone, Jerry Weldon. And these guys appear on a lot of the albums he was doing. This one, they also added some studio players with the orchestra. Trumpet player, the trumpet session player, Warren Looning, and trombone player, William Rickenbach. So, I mean, they've got some pretty standard studio players as well as his own band on here. And this one was an album where he did a few originals and a lot of covers. We've got Come By Me, Time After Time, There's No Business Like Show Business, Danny Boy, Cry Me a River, Love for Sale. Some pretty standard tunes, but a great band along with them. Now, when I saw Harry Connick live was about the time these two albums came out. And just to give you an idea what we're looking at here, it's in 2007. And the albums are very New Orleans tinged. As you can tell, we got one called Oh My NOLA for New Orleans, Louisiana. And another one, I can get it in there. And I'm not even going to try and say this. It's Harry Connick. I'm going to call in my interpreter for a little version of what the Harry Connick title is on this one.
Chanson du Vieux Carré.
And there you have it, Carré. About the French Quarter. And a lot of very traditional New Orleans songs on this one. Someday You'll Be Sorry, Bourbon Street Parade, Fidgety Feet, New Orleans, That's a Plenty, Mardi Gras in New Orleans. And the other one on My NOLA, we have Working in a Coal Mine, Won't You Come Home, Bill Bailey, Jambalaya, Someday, Oh My NOLA, one of Harry's songs, Hello Dolly, Lazy Bones, Chic of Araby. But the albums came out kind of together, and it was a tribute to New Orleans. And this was not long after the hurricane down there, where we had the terrible damage and the loss. And Harry was out promoting these in 2007. A couple of excellent albums. Big band backing people up. And again, we got Roger Ingram in there. We got Jerry Weldon in there. And Harry had an excellent arrangement for these bands as well. Now, at the same time, this is the first chance I got to meet Roger Ingram. So I had gone, and over the years, I've taken a few lessons from Roger. And while I can't play the way Roger plays, and I can't play those high notes like he does, I did learn some interesting things during our lessons. And I think probably what I gained most from my time with Roger Ingram was learning how to be a more efficient trumpet player. Being able now to make it through, a 2-3 hour rehearsal without too much discomfort and still have something left at the end of the night. So while the high notes may come, and I'll tell you, Roger's excellent on those high notes, you'll hear it maybe in a couple of weeks. We're getting into some Christmas music. He's got one where they do Frosty the Snowman, and I'll tell you, the notes he's starting on, I can't even imagine what they are. Great, excellent lead player. And while, like I say, my time with him, I learned some great things. I can never play like that, but it's a joy to hear somebody else do it. So a couple of good albums to listen to if you're just getting into Harry Connick. For me, the big band was the best stuff. I always enjoyed that because I'm geared that way as opposed to the smaller group. Harry Met Sally was a great album to start with. The two New Orleans ones are excellent because very familiar tunes plus some originals. And again, the other one, Come By Me, where you're incorporating some very familiar tunes with the big band and with the orchestra. So that's my recommendation for something to check out this week. One of the more modern crooners, Harry Connick Jr. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on Wednesday when it's Classic Rock.